Hey, Dan here, and in this video I want to share one technique that can dramatically free up space in your brain, help you stay focused, help you get more done. And this is for anyone who loves the possibilities, who loves thinking about the future. Specifically, ENFPs, this tends to apply a lot. I'm an ENFP myself, and I also have experience with INFPs and ENTPs where this can be really, really helpful. By the way, if you're new here, I am Dan. This is Dreams Around the World, and my mission here is to help you become the best version of yourself, all while creating the most awesome life possible for you and those you love. And as you might guess, today I am getting sick, and I am desperately filming this video. So I have a video to put up on Sunday and stick to my commitment to you guys to get 3 videos up a week. If in the next video after this I sound even more like the living dead, then I guess the oranges and vitamin C is not working. So if you're a future-oriented person, you're probably always looking ahead, right? You're looking at what could be and the infinite possibilities. And this is one of our ENFP superpowers, and it's also an ENTP superpower, is figuring out all the possible options, is being able to sort of analyze everything, look into the future, make really good decisions. And we love that. I recently have been booking a trip. I'm trying to plan out events for 2020 during the winter. And so I've been booking a trip around Europe, looking at destinations that are sort of warm in February and March. And so there's, I think, 7 or 8 places I'm visiting. And I had a lot of fun planning this trip, not just because I'm thinking like, where do I get to go on this business trip? But also because there's so many possibilities. And so it's like this really fun process of looking at all the different options and then how do they work together? Like, do you fly here first and then here, or go the other way? And how do you link everything up? That's really fun to do for my type, for an ENFP. It's an extremely fun process, I find. But here's the problem, is it eats up a ton of your mental energy, right? The last few days I've been having a little trouble focusing on other things as I have been getting this done. And this happens in all areas of life for us. I joke to people, but not really kidding, that planning a lunch can be one of the most draining things for me, because I'll start to think about all the possible restaurants and there's too many possibilities. It eats up mental space that really, if you're just having lunch with a friend, is not worth using that mental space on. So what do you do about this? Come to conclusive decisions. This is one of the best ways to not only reach your goals and get more done, but just free up headspace and feel a lot more grounded. So a really practical, easy example to start off with, and then we'll get into some more complex ones, is just eating lunch at the same couple places every day, right? There's a friend I used to meet for lunch once a week, and we would just always meet at the same place. We're both busy entrepreneurs. Why overthink it? Why try to get the new fancy place with goat cheese, balsamic, this, whatever? We're just meeting for lunch to see each other. So we met at the same place every week. It saved a lot of planning energy. You know, before we text each other in the morning, hey, where do we meet for lunch? I don't know, what do you feel like? Blah, blah, blah. It wastes a lot of headspace. So consistently doing the same thing in areas of your life where it doesn't really matter is one way to free up some of that mental energy for things where it really does matter. You know, planning an adventure or growing your business or putting that energy into your relationship, let's say. And on the note of relationships, this is actually something that's made marriage make a lot of sense to me. And let me explain that. Because, you know, there's a lot of different views on marriage, especially in 2018, like, does it really serve a purpose? You know, blah, blah, blah. And one of the things that does make a lot of sense to me about marriage is that you're committing to something. And I've talked about this in other videos. When you commit to an outcome, it changes your way of thinking, right? If you're in a relationship, the way most people can think, most of the time, of course, it's not everyone all the time. So a lot of people, if they're in a relationship, on some level, they're sort of always analyzing things, right? They're always thinking like, is this a good relationship? Can I do better? Is this the right person for me? Do we have a future? You know, some friends have talked to me about living with your partner, and the way a lot of people look at moving in with someone is like testing. It's like, okay, we'll move in together and I can test if I'm compatible with them. And to me, this is like setting yourself up for disaster, because you're going in with a headspace of testing them. Where, what do you do when you test? You look for flaws, you look for what doesn't work, you look for kind of bad things. That's part of the whole mindset going in, right? And so the opposite to that is looking at, okay, I'm going to make this relationship work. I'm committed to this, so I'm never second guessing the relationship. I'm never doubting if we have a future, but instead I'm just looking for solutions. Hey, we have this problem. Cool. How do I solve it? What can I do differently? This is why there's some statistics that say that living with someone before marriage doesn't actually increase the chance of a successful marriage. In some cases, getting married first actually predicts a successful marriage and relationship. And that's including the people who lived together and then they decided it didn't work and then they never got married. So the people who actually lived together first and got married, they already were filtered, right? And they still did not have a better chance of having a successful marriage than people who just got married first, were committed, and then lived together. Now, sometimes this is really counterintuitive to us freedom-loving types, right? I don't know an INFP or an ENFP who loves to be put in a box and forced to do the same thing or to have a lot of structure. We love freedom. We love infinite possibilities. Problem is, when we have infinite possibilities, we literally just go insane. Like, there's too much to think about. There's too many options. It's really, really overwhelming. And so something that I've been doing more and more is limiting my options. When it comes to booking a trip, I have this trip coming up. I mentioned I go out of my way within a few days of deciding on doing this trip to book the main flights, because then I'm locked in and I have some structure. Otherwise, I'll be thinking for months, like, where could I go? What are all the options? And it eats up so much mental space. I find this with work as well. I sent out an email the other day about events I'm hosting in 2019 with the dates and locations. And one of the reasons I sent out this email, aside from giving people a heads up, so they can start planning travel and planning the year, is that until I sent that email, I kept debating the dates. Like, is this weekend better than this weekend? Or I had a plan, but until it was solidified, I kept questioning the plan and thinking about other options. Maybe I could host an event in that city instead, or maybe I could do it there. And that is not a good use of my energy. And so one of my techniques is sending out that email. Once I've emailed thousands of people about when these events will be, I can't really change the dates or change my mind. Now that that's set, then I can focus on planning the details of the events and doing the really cool things. So I'm not saying to limit yourself in life to just have this boring routine life where you have no possibilities of change in the future and all that. I know that would never work for you. It would never work for me. But what I'm saying has worked well for me is to make some commitments that provide a structure for me to play within. I found this with creativity too. I'll maybe get into that in another video, that when I give myself structure to work in, I'm actually more creative. I get more done and I have a lot more fun as well. So don't look at decisions or structure as bad. Sometimes that's how we're wired as our type. We don't want to be locked into something. In my experience across the board, whether it's in relationships, in travel, in business, even in health, committing to some things and making some decisions has freed up so much of my mental space. It's led to me having more fun, having a better life, and ultimately actually feeling a lot more freedom, as counterintuitive as that sounds. Listen, there's no freedom in your head going in circles. There's no freedom in overthinking things. One way you stop that overthinking and have more freedom is actually make decisions, commit to things, and give yourself some structure. Hope you found this video helpful. Hope my sickness has not impaired my cognitive function too much here. And I look forward to seeing you in another video. If you've enjoyed this, do hit the subscribe button and the bell. I publish new videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Hope to catch you in another one soon. Thanks for watching.